So do Somali people really not identify with being African? Because growing up in Africa, being half African, I heard a lot of things about Somali people, just a lot of horrible things about Somali people. A lot of the times, though, when I would hear these things, I'd be like, you guys are just making stuff up. One of them was that Somali people thought they were superior to the rest of Africans because they had their own tectonic plate, the Somali plate, and that they didn't want to be called African, they didn't want to be a part of Africa. When I heard that, I was like, sure. Because Somalia is a part of Africa, so why would Somali people not want to identify with being African? I thought this was fake. But an alarming amount of Somali people in my comments are telling me they're not African. Apparently, there's a poem that says, we're not African, we're not Arabs, we're Somali. Which maybe I understand the sentiment behind it. It's like, we're Somali first? Sure, I get that. But denying to be African, full stop, is odd, no? No? I don't know, guys. I don't have anything against Somali people. People in my comments are like, "Wait till you go to Somalia." My parents loved Somalia. My parents really loved Somalia, and they love Somali people. I've only heard good things about Somali people from my parents. I I don't know what people are talking about, frankly. But the "we're not African" thing is weird to me. I'll say that. I'll leave it there.
Hi guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. It's so good to have you. Thank you so much for clicking. When you saw this video, everyone is talking about Somalis in Minnesota and how, they are smart, they are this and they are that, and now they are saying that, we need to give them citizenship because America has made it look like you have to work so hard. But at the end of the day, it seems these guys don't need to, with everything that everyone is talking about on social media. Okay, well, I'm going to let the rest of the videos roll, then we'll come back with more commentary. I'd love to hear what you all have to say about the Somalis and everything that people are talking about today in this video. Then I'll come back with more commentary. Do what to like and subscribe. Credit belongs to original creators of these videos. Let's go watch.
I genuinely dislike anything that has to do with politics and politicking simply because what politics looks like today and what it did 20, 30 years ago is completely different. When I came to this country at the age of 10 years old, I never seen anyone discuss their political and religion views and beliefs in school system. But right now, people are openly discussing this boldly with bigotry and with hate, especially with this new administration. It is giving people the opportunity to take their mask off to personally attack a group of people because they genuinely have that hate stored in their heart. I recently came in contact with videos created by African American women. It really bothered me because for her to make such an accusation and to repeat history was so sad to see. She said, this is a woman who have came in contact with Somali before, probably been employed by Somali, have had some sort of interaction with Somali, or have been neighbored with Somali, that all Somalis are people who live on government, who are not people that work, that are people that live in theft, and people who fraud the government and have been able to create luxury for themselves by frauding the system. And I'm like, okay, there is bad in every community and there's good in every community. So don't brush an entire community with one because you just got this information online and you're reading this and spreading this information like a freaking disease. And then now you're utilizing what the administration and what the president of this country is saying to validate your points by making claims and saying they need to investigate the Somalis in Columbus. I personally took the time to message her to say, hey, now you're talking about me. Okay, so hold your horses and let me educate you a little bit. She didn't want to hear my side of the testimony. She didn't want to hear my story because she knew it did not coincide with her beliefs, and she didn't want her audience or people that are watching her to hear or to even make a statement by someone who has lived in this country for so many years and have been able to elevate herself from nothing to something without scamming, without being unethical, without lying and cheating and stealing. And it was so baffling because I'm like, did you forget, as a black woman, as a colored woman, it was just the 1800s when this country abolished slavery. How dare you put through what was put through and onto your ancestors? How dare you make such a statement that created embarrassment, that took opportunity, stripped support and positions from people of color? How dare you make such a statement? And I was like, and to see all these people of color co-siding with her and saying her she's doing great by speaking the truth, I'm like, did you really forget where you came from? Because obviously we of Somalia have not forgotten where we came from. And that's what we have been able to succeed, because when you don't forget who you are, you make the best of every opportunity. The craziest thing is every statements she made and every false and misguided information she spread online just gagged hate, personal vendetta, and this distaste for the success of people who came to this country less than 20, 30 years ago that have been able to make something of themselves, have created wealth for themselves and their generation and their next generation to come. Because you who were born in this country haven't been able to capitalize the opportunity, and you're so lazy and you couldn't understand how important it was for you to take advantage of the resources and the time that was invested in you, so that people who came to this country as immigrants like myself took that opportunity and utilized it to the best of our ability to elevate ourselves. We came from nothing. We were not submitting to nothing again. We came from nothing to become something. And I'm sorry if that bothers a lot of you Americans who think something was stolen from you. No, nothing was stolen from you. The only thing is, you stole a life from yourself by sitting around and creating this hate in your heart and not finding a way to elevate your life and take these opportunities that was given to you to benefit your community members, to benefit your loved ones, and to benefit your children. I'm sorry that you feel like something was taken from you and given to us. Nothing was given to us free. We all worked hard. The Somalis produces lawyers, they produce businessmen and women, they produce political leaders, they produce religious leaders, they have community members who are active in addressing issues, helping one another, and there are people of collectiveness. There are people who do not submit to poor lifestyle, poverty. Most of us, and not most of us, all of us came from hunger. We came from places where we wouldn't even wish upon our worst enemy. So for this woman to make such a claim is so baffling, and for others to rally her and not tell her, hey, knock it off because you sound a bitter old black woman who hates the opportunity these people have been able to create for themselves because you decided not to take advantage of those services, doesn't mean that everyone is a stealer, everyone is a scammer, everyone is a fraudist. If you are someone who's never came in contact with a Somali person, I highly suggest you get to learn get to learn the community, get to learn Somalis as individuals and as collective community members, because we are people who contribute big into this community and will continue to contribute as much as we can and for longest as we can. And mind you, Somalis don't only just reside in America, they live all over the world, and everywhere they go and everywhere they reside, they leave their footprints, they leave their profession, they leave their businesses, and they create wealth in those communities. They don't take, they add values. Of course, there are those who take unlawfully, unethically, immorally. So every community member, every community, every background of individuals have those individuals who take things that doesn't belong to them, who take things unlawfully and illegally, but that doesn't mean everyone is like that. So before you pose your judgment, or before you listen to these people who have just personal dislike for the success of others, learn the individuals that they claim to have taken everything from them and make your own judgment rather than being blindly led by someone whose heart has been hardened by jealousy, envy, and complete and obvious dislike simply because they're seeing people come into this country prosper way faster than they are and they will ever be. With that, I hope everyone has peace and love in their heart, and then continue to spread peace and love, because obviously there's a lot little of love and a lot of hate in this world today. Bye.
You see, being a West African myself and being raised by West Africans, I was unaware of the skills that East Africans held. I was unaware that every Somali had their stats maxed when it came to speech, charisma, and deception. Silver, what the hell are you talking about? I'm talking about the Somali ancient techniques of rage bait. You see, ever since the Orange Diddler in the White House started disrespecting the Somalis within Minnesota, these people got to work rage baiting every conservative online. These people are talking about Minnesota was promised to us 3,000 years ago. They're talking about SAPAC, the Somali American Political Action Committee, to pay off politicians. They're going through the history books and identifying hidden Somali traits in our founding fathers. That's right. All of our founding fathers, they're from Somalia. And the greatest part of all of this, every conservative online is falling for it.
Everybody's talking about how they actually rage bait people. Okay. And if you guys notice when when the whole issue started with Trump saying he doesn't want them in his country, they need to go out and all that. And you guys saw how they started rage baiting and saying things like, oh, Somalis, Minnesota was handed over to us 3,000 years ago and all that. So many people actually took it very seriously. Some people didn't understand how rage baiting that was. A lot of people took it personally and was like, oh, was he giving to them? Oh, when was he giving to them and all that? Even me, I was like, how can you actually come online to say that, some Minnesota was given to you 3,000 years ago? When was Minnesota formed? All of those questions have been in my mind, and I just keep wondering. Anyway, aside that, you've seen how a lot of them came out on social media and start calling out black folks for not reacting the way they expect them to react, which is, supporting them, speaking up for them and all that, or even standing up for them. Okay. Even after Black Americans have said that they will be keeping silence and watching everybody go through their issues this period, because for decades, for years, Black Americans have stood in the gap for every single person, including white women and white men. Like, they have literally stood for everybody. They have gone out there, protested, sat down, did so many things, and at the end of the day, what do they get in return? Disrespect from so many immigrants and them voting against their own interests. And now, for some Somalis who are now coming out to say, oh, we actually, you cannot push it to us. We are not the only people that did this law. Things like there are bad people in the community. Yes, I think that I'm not one person that will say that everybody in that community is bad. No. Okay. The reason why is as if everybody's talking about you guys now is for you guys to take accountability, especially calling out the people in your community who have done something wrong. And that's what happens when a child, does something wrong. You see how their parents kind of scold them and say, oh, this was wrong, so that the child doesn't repeat that again. That's exactly what is happening now. And people are like, somebody needs to take accountability. Somebody needs to come out and say, oh, what you did is wrong. I've only seen like one or two persons make videos about that. Like the Somali lady who was on a live broadcast the other time where she was being interviewed. She was like, fraud is bad and all that. You saw how she ended the speech and was smiling like her, like I read off script. Okay, somebody needs to take accountability and say this is wrong. So we need to tackle the issues in our community and welcome progress and welcome sanity and all that. But you cannot be pretending like everything is okay, your entire community is okay, and expect every other person to just clap for you and embrace you and laugh at you, especially with your community having stayed on their own for years, not assimilating with other communities, especially the Black community. Anyway, guys, let me know what you all think in today's video. Let's have that conversation. Please go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Credit belongs to original creators of these videos. I look forward to seeing all on my next. Thank you so much, guys, for watching, and see you all next time. Bye, guys.